All right, guys. Everybody keeps messaging me about the studio. When's the studio going to be built? When's it going to be up and running? We're almost there, man. This is it right here. I've had to come back in and do a bunch of stuff. I've got to run a bunch of wires. There's all kinds of stuff to do. But as far as the flooring is concerned, we're pouring the floor in the next couple of days. I got in here yesterday and did some hand grinding, hit up all the edges to finish off. And then I've got to come in with the power vac and make sure that I suck up all the debris off the floor and give it a good wet mop. And then I've got to come back in with this tube stuff I've got. It kind of looks like a caulk tube, and it's 2-part epoxy. And I'm going to drop some of that in some of these little indentions that the shot blaster left, because it was having a hell of a time with the power vac I had hooked up to. It just wasn't powerful enough, so it was having trouble being consistent, I guess. So it ended up pelting the floor here and there. So we're gonna fill in all those little cracks to try to bring that level up with the rest of the floor with some of that 2-part epoxy in a tube, and then we'll let that stuff dry overnight. Tomorrow we are going to give it one last final sanding, a final vacuum, and a good wet mop, one last good wet mop. And then once it's dried completely, we'll come back in and just vacuum one last time, make sure there's no debris. We'll put the primer down, and then the following day, or later that night or the following day, we'll come back in and pour the epoxy. And then 24 hours later, we'll do the top coat, and then we're gonna do 2 top coats on this. So we're gonna do the high gloss urethane coat, but we're gonna do 2 coats of it. So we'll come in the next day and we'll put the top coat down. We'll come in the following day and put another top coat down. So it's probably going to be about a week and a half before I can actually start bringing anything in here and putting it on the floor, as far as like desks and stuff like that. Next will be running the wire. So I've got to get up in here. I want to run a conduit from up in here all the way down the wall to the breaker box, which is in the other room. That way, if I ever need to add more wire, I can just drop wire down that pipe and then hook it into the breaker box that's in the other room. So I gotta get the wires ran here. I'm gonna have an outlet here. We'll have 1 or 2 outlets on this wall. I believe we're gonna have 1 outlet on this wall, which will be the main outlet for the TV that's gonna be on this wall. And then we'll do probably 1, 2, 3 outlets here, and then we'll probably do 1, 2 outlets. So we'll have plenty of amps, plenty of wattage, and plenty of plugs to get this whole studio set up. And then once we get all the wiring done, then I'll come in and we got to do some drywalling. We'll start over at this area and kind of get this whole corner drywalled, including part of the ceiling. That way we can get the mini split in here, get it mounted, and then we'll just continue on with the drywall piece by piece, and then we'll take this garage door off. And then we got to frame this wall in. I've already got all the 2x4s to frame it in, so it's just a matter of taking the door off, framing it in. But I don't want to take this off and deal with that until I've poured the floor. And once we get the drywall up, the plan as far as the layout for this is 15 feet from here to here, and from there to this wall will be 20 feet. So it's a 15 by 20 foot room. So with the design that we have already in this room, with the black wall coming up 40 inches and then stopping, and then the gray wall continues up, we're gonna have white chair rail running down where the 2 colors come together, so you won't see this transition. It'll be covered by a white chair rail. So we're gonna continue that same paint job down this wall to here. On this wall here, we're gonna do at the same height level, but instead of just painting it black, we're gonna do a Fox brick wall on the bottom, and then paint up. And then this wall, I haven't decided how I want to do this wall, but this has got to be a really cool accent wall, because this is going to have the big screen TV. The podcast table is going to be right here. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 seats, and this is going to be your main view. On this wall, we're going to have the cutout in the wall, because we're going to have the 125-gallon Acropora tank on the other side, so we'll be able to see through this wall into the fish tank. So the main camera view for the podcasts will be that accent wall with the TV. You'll have this, you'll be able to see the fish tank. You'll be able to see the podcast table, both sides of the table with the guests, and then you'll see part of this brick wall. So this main shot is probably the most important focal point for the podcast. So this has got to be right. I haven't decided 100% on what this wall is going to look like yet. I just don't know. I thought about doing a complete Fawkes brick wall. I don't know how that would, so I don't know how that'll look. Your guys' comments down below with some ideas, opinions, what you think. So let me just run it one more time for you. It's going to have the black wall, 40 inches up. It's going to be black and then gray, okay, all the way down to this wall. And then here, it's still going to have the gray wall above, but instead of just being painted black, it's going to have a Fawkes brick. So what do we do with this wall where the TV, the big screen TV is going? What do we do with this wall? And depending on what we do with this wall, what color is this wall going to be to go with all of this? Now, keep in mind, the floor, there's a little bit of dust. I can't really get in there right now, but you can see this is the black and gray marbleized epoxy floor. So we're going to have the black and gray marbleized floor, Fawkes brick wall, black, gray. So your guys' ideas, what do you think we should do with this wall? And what do you think we should do with this wall as far as color? And should we do some kind of like Fawkes brick wall on this too? Or how should we do this? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. Thumbs up, make sure everybody sees it. And yeah, we're getting there, man. There's your update. Next time you guys look at this view, that beautiful floor is going to be done. See you on the next one, man.